Moments flash by, life slips away. Mixed emotions and bonds make up the journey of life. Joys and sorrows play the music of life. Love sparks the show known as life. Relationships, kinships, friendships and love intertwine. And at times give rise to conflict. They are so complicated. Troubles and sorrows come from interpersonal relationships. Grandmaster JinBodhi talks Karma series, Interpersonal Relationships. Let me ask you, do you have any enemies you don't know in this life? No, right? Those you hate and fight with are familiar to you. A girl said, I hate my mom the most. She controls me every day, checks through my phone, and supervises my schoolwork. She spies on me when I go out with friends and gives me little allowance. So what troubles us most is the bond between us and our closest ones. Our behaviors could be good or bad. When you're hurt, you'll get annoyed. When you're cared for and loved, you'll feel happy. Those who make you happy or sad are usually close to you, so learn to handle interpersonal relationships well. You would solve at least 1/3 of life's distress. Meditation is amazing as it can be combined with real life. The flower of wisdom blooms on real-life troubles. In the convoluted web of interpersonal relationships, let's find out what causes the troubles in family relationships. A male practitioner asked me, Master, do you have any idea how I can leave my wife? When he asked me this, he had wanted us to lock his wife outside, then he dared to ask. Otherwise they're always together. We persuaded him to stay. He said, my wife is always with me. I asked, are you guys newlyweds? Look at our age. Newlyweds? We've been married over 10 years. It's serious. Even when I go to the bathroom, she's right there beside me. I said, this is true love. She thinks I'm perfect. A younger practitioner said, something's wrong. He said, yeah, something's wrong with her. What do you think? Is his wife sick? Yes. You all are not like this, right? Your love is not deep. So if you love someone, you need to have a certain control. Does your bond have to be inseparable? Some say yes. Then does inseparable equal happiness? No. So for love, kinship and friendship, how close should you keep to be happy? You can be very close occasionally. This time should be no longer than 1 hour a day. Whether it's romance or friendship. Every day, you need at least a few hours to do whatever you want, such as having a shower, etc. This is also your happiness. So even when you have love and affection, you should keep a certain distance and leave each other room for freedom. When you are very close and love each other deeply, you want to know everything about him, otherwise you'll be sleepless. But after knowing all, you'll definitely be sleepless. Nowadays people suffer insomnia. So sometimes, not knowing certain things is actually good. Being a wise person without knowing all is the noble realm of life. You should be able to control this distance. So as a woman, you love your husband and follow him everywhere, even during work and bathroom breaks. In no more than 3 years, how would your husband feel about you? He'd say, God, please save me from her. Why? Is he being chased by the mafia? No, he's being chased by a beautiful ghost. If you love too much to behave properly, it's not good. So when you're young and inexperienced, you may have strong passion and impulses. After your passion and impulses fade, you need to control yourself rationally. You may change after hearing my words. Before, when seeing your husband, hug me, dear. Now you say, hello, my friend. Your husband will say, God, please take me. Seeing her as the bane of my life. You shouldn't do that either. We're talking about the psychological distance that you should purposefully leave for the other party. Learn how to maintain interpersonal relationships well. After we understand the principles, we'll get hurt less. We'll experience less mental and physical trauma. We'll naturally have fewer worries. What I've said here sounds like jokes, but these tips help us maintain the love at home. Here is my first tip for you. Although you love him, don't be like a ghost, sticking to him 24/7. Or he'll run away. When women wear jewelry, they take it off when going to sleep, right? Although you like jewelry a lot, you can't wear it all the time. How about your ears and neck, right? So don't love like a plaster that's always sticky and can't be taken off. Even for a plaster, stickiness can wear off after 24 hours. Leave some distance for love to be created. This is true for both love and kinship. The string of affection makes no sound when too loose, but breaks when too tense. Gaining control of this degree is the key to family harmony. Proper distance is the glue that maintains marital relationships. Just like the netizen's question I answered last night. If your husband wants to escape after 40 years of marriage, I'll tell you to let him go. You say you can't. If you love him or loved him before, or you really hate him, just let go. You've already killed him in your heart. Why don't you let him go physically? You'll just have one more paper for divorce, right? This is called setting him free, because the person has already gone. They've argued and fought for many years. The only thing she can't let go of is her husband's wallet. Your persistence today is because of your greed. If you insist on marriage, which can't be taken with you when you die, we call this being greedy. Greed for the past feelings and promises. Past promises are no different from farts. You just remembered it because it's a promise. The promise did not leave its footprint in the universe. When he said that he'd love you till the end of the world, it was just a sentence, not an absolute truth. He said this under influence. Right? You could tell he was blindly in love. It was also because of age. When he's 130 years old, you won't get excited no matter how pretty the person is. Right? Is anyone at 80 dating like crazy? After being together for years, lovers may quarrel. Then they remind the other party to remain true to their initial intention. Many people have heard this saying, right? Remain true to your initial intention. Sounds touching, right? I'm reminding you not to forget your first love, your origins and where you come from. Where were you before being born? Before we were born, we were nothing. After some years, we'll return to the state of nothingness. What else can you cling to? There are all kinds of experiences in life. Things happen even when you don't think they should. People who shouldn't betray have betrayed. You've lost money, though you don't think you should have. You got the illness you don't think you should have. Things that shouldn't happen have happened. At these times, we feel life is difficult. So a person's life is a dream. Be flexible about things you cling to the most. Even for a dreamy life. If you think deeply, you can realize the paths to liberation. In a marital relationship, don't pursue the passion of the first love, or force the other person to honor their promises. Learn to think beyond time. Let the relationship stay at a suitable temperature. This flows with the rules of life, and won't get you trapped in relationships. I've talked many times about in-law and marital relationships. There's a lot of love involved, although they're not all romantic relationships. They are expressions of different feelings in different roles. But if you can't handle relationships properly, you may hurt your loved ones, including your children, your mom or in-laws. Don't be too harsh to people around you. I'm telling you, those who play others play themselves. You con him, thinking that he's a fool. Once the fool realizes what you're doing, he'll eat you. If you con your husband, he will escape from you. When you're conning someone, you think they don't know. But do you plan to do this forever? They have time to reflect on your behaviors. Once they find out they've been fooled, they may shut the door on you and ignore you forever. Many schemers eventually push their husbands into another person's embrace. A lot of people gave away their loved ones with their own hands. This is not what they intended, but their deceitful behavior created the result. Many couples are not happy. People confide in me about their spouse. I might ask a woman, "What do you do when he's at home?" "You're not ugly. Why would he be with someone less good-looking?" Why? Because she schemes behind his back. Generally speaking, many foolish women gave their husbands away with their deceitful behaviors. A lady talked with me yesterday. She's been married for 40 years, but hates her husband so much now. We didn't meet in person. If we had, I would have asked her, "How were you as a wife?" A practitioner doesn't blame others when there's a problem. Question yourself first. What did you do? I looked at her photo. Although she's aged a bit, she's still very pretty. Why would your husband leave you for someone else? What did you do? What are you like on a daily basis? Okay, I'll say a little more. Almost all of those who have good looks but poor interpersonal relationships make the same mistake. What's the reason? Do you guys want to know? Yes. Improve interpersonal relationships. Build a happy life. Welcome back to Grandmaster JinBodhi Talks Karma Series Part 3 Interpersonal Relationships. Most of those who look good but inflict emotional damage on others and have troubled relationships make the same mistake. Selfishness. Because of being selfish, they become too self-centered, greedy, exploitative, and compulsive. You have to listen to me, because you're my son, wife, husband. You must wear clothes according to my preferences. You must wash your face based on my standards. Your sleeping position and snoring sound must meet my requirements, so right now it's good to have robots. All of your actions have to meet my requirements. After these are satisfied, she'll push further. Why are you so dull? You're not interesting, so you have to play some tricks yourself. If you have too many tricks, she may not accept it. Because you're too selfish. You ask for too much. You want to control everything. You want the color of the whole sky to be customized for you. As a small human being, you want to control everything related to you. Just like having a robot at home, you want to control everything by pressing a button of the remote control. This is the common mistake we all tend to make. We hurt others because of selfishness. Regarding the education of children, if I think being a doctor is good, I would want my child to be a doctor. What if your child has brain damage? Can he still be a doctor? Sometimes parents don't understand how to select things according to their children's interests and goals. If mom says, you have to do it, that's considered selfish. What if your child doesn't like it? If you force your child to marry someone she doesn't like, she won't be happy. When I say that, it sounds like no big deal to you, right? What does being unhappy mean? She's in pain and in disgust. By forcing her to marry someone she doesn't love, you're hurting her. Why don't you teach and help your child to do what they want to do? Of course, I don't mean bad things. Talking about relationships. Would our family relationships really be that great? Would our family ties really be very close? If we don't handle relationships well, sweet affinity will turn to hatred. This change is usually created by us because we don't know how to act. We don't know how to be parents. When teaching our children, we end up pushing them away. We constantly bash, libel, humiliate, and slander them. In the end, we destroy them. But for moral reasons, kids have to love their parents. It's all about prodigal sons turning good again. Why? When he can think normally, he hates his parents. But for moral reasons, he loves his parents just because he thinks he should be grateful. He loves his parents because of morality. Parents should feel ashamed of this situation. Their behaviors create obstacles between parents and children. So when the kid is growing up, he is adding layers of armor. A new layer gets added every month. When the kid reaches 30 years old, his parents can't communicate with him at all. The gap is too big. Through Master's insights, we reflect on ourselves. When there is trouble within the family, we first ask ourselves, what did I do? Am I too aggressive because of selfishness? Our greed and calculating ways have hurt our family, ultimately destroying family relationships. After looking at broken family relationships, let's look at workplace relationships. In your workplace, it's all the same. People have bad relationships because they're selfish. You have to be whatever I want you to be. Because I'm selfish, I hate you, your color, hair, look. The way you speak, your achievements and everything. How can you improve your interpersonal relationships? Because I'm self-centered, I think I am always correct. I don't want to discuss with you guys, everyone must do things my way. The highest level managers have the right to take this approach. They should have comprehensive knowledge and decision-making ability. A wrong decision may destroy what he has built in his investment. So he can make decisions. If you are not the boss, as a manager or an important employee, you have to think about others' needs and leave room for discussion. You need to be tolerant and at ease. Say, you're a designer and you're too selfish, so you see your designs as the most perfect artwork in the world. But if you opened an architecture studio by yourself, you would turn from an arrogant designer into someone who prioritizes customer needs. Do you know why? The customer may not like what you think is beauty. If you insist, the customer would go to another person. You're a designer, not an artist. You're not designing for yourself but for others. Like a tailor, you customize the clothes for others. If customers don't like your design, they won't pay you. They don't want your service. No one wins. You can't even support yourself. So being too selfish hinders your interpersonal relationships, takes away gentleness and politeness and financial income. In work and business settings, the same problem exists. I think, whether you're a manager, a boss, or a more junior employee, you need to know your position. You're flowing with the work of your boss. All your actions should follow his or her instructions. I'm talking about normal jobs. Since you are working for others, you need to meet the job requirements. Self-admiration and stubbornness are stumbling blocks in professional relationships. Fulfill your duty and be kind to others. Then you're able to maintain professional relationships. There is such a designer, he says. I'll never cooperate with you. You need to respect my artwork. Do you know how many artists were homeless? They just slept on a bench beside a garbage bin. In the end, they all went mad. Let me tell you a story about an artist gone mad. He was Caucasian, looked nice and spoke softly. What was his situation? He was receiving subsidies from the government. He was an artist and designer without a job. We met in our center. He was so amiable and seemed easy to approach. After learning about his background, we told him, we need a designer. He had been unemployed for more than 4 years. Our center provides lunch, and he liked to come. He was jobless and broke, receiving a few $100s in subsidies monthly. We felt he was nice and easygoing. So we sent a fellow practitioner to talk with him. We'd pay him a few $1,000s monthly to design for our magazines and newspapers. Hearing the artist's reply, I thought I had heard something wrong. After the fellow practitioner talked with him, he asked for a very high salary. I said, you must have heard it wrong. Maybe he's joking. Let me talk to him. When I was talking business with him, he said, do you know who I am? I used to design for a film company. The first floor lobby of a skyscraper in Vancouver was designed by me. I said, wow, really? It didn't look like he was joking. Then how much do you want to be paid? $130,000 after tax. I started cleaning my ear. Did I have trouble hearing? I said, write the number down. After he wrote the number down, I asked, how's your life been in recent years? He said, I've been unemployed for about 8 years. I rely on government subsidies. Do you have other friends and family? No, I don't hang out with them anymore. But in your circumstances, you have very little income. Our center can't afford that much money. Can we pay you a few thousand instead? He said, no, I have my own standards. My neck was stuck again. I found myself jumping out of the room. I talked a lot with him during this process. I said, we're friends. And you've been eating here for a few years now. Give me a discount. No, I have my dignity. Okay, all right then. You can continue to meditate here. I wouldn't drive him away because we didn't reach an agreement. We're still friends when we meet. You have to know that. Whether they're Chinese or other races, the mistakes they made are all the same. In Buddhism, it's called self-ego. Self-ego means self-centered. Everything is about me. Do you think the Western designer did the right thing? No. Then where has he gone wrong? Self-ego. My past status. So you see someone as pitiful, but you'll find him hateful after knowing him more. When you offer a job, he won't settle for anything less. Then there's a Chinese woman, she studies supercomputers. She's the same age as me, with average looks. Right now she's still single. Her mom is an old disciple here. She said, Master, what can I do to help my daughter get married? She can't stay like this. She wanted to dig a boyfriend up for her daughter. It was very frustrating, due to the mom's desperate request. I would often talk to her daughter about finding a boyfriend. At first I didn't know her character. She's sophisticated, with a master's degree and a PhD. She was so well educated and looked very natural and poised as well. You're sophisticated and not bad looking. How come you can't find a boyfriend? She put her lips together and said, Master, you've underestimated me. You think I never had a boyfriend? I said, yeah, he needs to stay, though. It's like counting money, it's useless if it's not yours. She said, I'm a gem. I need to wait for the man who has good taste. I've met 70 or 80 men who didn't have good taste. Oh right, none of them knew you were a gem. I was talking to her like she was my own daughter.
我为了她，我跟她说的都很，是吧？就好像给自己女儿的讲了。
You should put yourself out more and show more care for others. I mentioned many things to her. She yelled, I did all of them. Most didn't stay more than 3 days. The longest was 2 weeks. What can I do? I said, yeah, I got nothing. They didn't come to the center for a long time. When they did come back, her mom said, what can I do with my daughter? Amitabha, just wait till the next life. She's like a computer that can't be upgraded. Just let it be. They didn't want to listen. What update? She didn't want to update. From finding a job to finding a boyfriend, I was talking like her father and provided her with so many ideas. In the end, she just ignored all of them. Even if she were my own daughter, I still couldn't help her. That's her fate. Wait for the next life then. I could do nothing. She didn't want to update herself. She never said, I made a mistake. Master, you're right. I told her all the principles, and even set up an entire lesson just for her about self-ego. She cried after my lesson, but the next day, she was still the same. You want to update her? The signals didn't match. The update was rejected. The talk was all for nothing. So that night after the lesson, I sang a song at the center. I used to ask countless times, when would you go with me? I was so angry, so I sang this song. I had no way to deal with it. That day I went to the hospital. I wanted to see a psychologist who could heal me. Telling me a joke would help. My heart hurt from this. I was so mad. So in this case, aside from other aspects, when your self-ego is too strong, you won't accept others. Let's have a look at why we have negative emotions. The root cause is selfishness. If we dig deeper, it's self-ego. When self-ego arises, you'll insist on what you're doing. You become stubborn as a rock, and aren't able to absorb nutrients. Arrogance, rudeness, hurtfulness. Selfishness, greed and disputes are all caused by self-ego. So when self-ego arises, all negative emotions arise. Harsh words and angry eyes arise. All kinds of vices come out and accumulate. Wrongdoings and wicked thoughts arise, ones you can't imagine. Self-ego is the root cause of all negative relationships. With the presence of self-ego, you won't accept friendly reminders from others. You refuse to correct your mistakes, and miss opportunities to improve yourself. After learning what makes bad relationships, let's explore how to make up for past mistakes, and repair broken relationships. So what about the opposite? How about kindness? When compassion arises, it creates love. Love is the opposite of hate. I want to protect and love. Love is not selfish. I want to offer and give. When older mothers and grandmas bring food to their kids, that is love. When you were outside for a long time, you'd recall your mother or grandma bringing a bowl of hot soup to you. You felt so warm inside. That is love. When this love is enlarged, it becomes compassion. When compassion arises, it offers growth to this world. It's loving, caring, protective, encouraging, praiseful. It's helping, offering and contributing. Then our interpersonal relationships would improve. So use compassion and kindness to change various social ties. To summarize, this is what we should do. Use kindness to solve all things and troubles. We'll ultimately obtain auspiciousness. I don't know if ordinary people get the concept of good and evil. They may create chaos when trying to solve issues in the normal way. As the saying goes, a knife for a knife, and a tooth for a tooth. If you've attacked me, I'll attack you back. Normal people have a more violent heart. This result is more negative. Using an attacking mindset to solve problems would ultimately be painful. So we must use compassion to face various karmic incidents in our lives. Having the opportunity to become one family is a big karmic connection. If you've got the feeling to become a couple, why become enemies later? How did it come to this? It's caused by our lack of wisdom every step of the way. If no one teaches you, you'd be rotten even if you were once good. Many don't have the understanding and knowledge. For example, your wife loves you, but she's too shy to say, "I love you." She doesn't have the habit of saying, "Honey, I love you," when you come home. For girls in our village, they would even say, "I dislike you," even though they love you. You could say often, "You're so handsome, husband." Can you compliment your husband like this? Actually, everyone wants to be acknowledged for what they're good at. If you say he's handsome, courageous, wise, gentle, responsible, and a good husband, he would feel that you know him better than his mom. My mom often says that I'm a useless bastard. But you see how great I am. I'm willing to do anything for you. So many macho men, especially the really fierce ones, want to get praise and affirmation from a female or their boss. Everyone has this mentality. If you want your husband to love you and be wise and responsible, all you need are praise and gentleness. It's the same with your kids, whether your kids will come closer to you or stay far away. It all depends on you. Express your love bravely. Stop criticizing. Always give others affirmation and praise. This will remove the wall between family members and warm up frozen relationships. Be a compassionate person, giving others love and tolerance. Our interpersonal relationships would change. Our feelings would also change. Those who used to fight would start to change today. But you must have the endurance. After a week, you say, I can't stand it anymore, and fight with him. Don't do that. There's a saying in Buddhism about rage. Merits are depleted by outbursts of fury. Although you give a lot of money and love, they'll burn away instantly because of your outburst. The son you've raised for 20 years just picked up his bag and left. You raised him with meticulous care for 20 years. He's gone because of your outburst. Even your daughter wants to leave. How about your husband? Your son left once. Your husband may have already left 10 times. Your present life is the result of your past life. Your future life will be the result of your present life. If we want to change the future results, we must do things out of kindness now. Buddha said, see a world in a flower, and a Bodhi in a single thought. One thought, what is this one thought? It's the ability to differentiate kindness and evil. I want to be a compassionate person. I want to be a kind person. Start from this single thought, and put it in family, social and professional relationships, and any loving relationships in the entire society. We are a part of all sentient beings on earth. We must be merciful toward other people, animals, insects, even the mosquito that bites you. An online friend sent me a message to ask why Buddhists are often taken advantage of by others. He asked, Buddha Dharma is all-powerful and mighty. The 4 heavenly kings are all guardians. If the Buddha wants to kill someone, it'd be easy. Why didn't he fight violence with violence? That means, if you hurt me, I'll hurt you. He asked, why not? Last night, I gave him a reply, because Buddha is Buddha. If an immature grandson slaps his grandpa, would his grandpa slap back? If a dog bit your leg, would you bite the dog back? If a swindler set your mother up, would you trick him back? Don't do that. Buddha is compassionate. He's Buddha because he's comfortable getting the short end of the stick. He never hurts others because others have hurt him. That's not Buddha. That's a normal living being. Our mistake lies here. If you hurt me, I'll hurt you. If you curse me, I'll curse you. You dare cheat me, I'll kill you. This is definitely wrong. This causes the endless cycle of karma. Ultimately, you'll pay with your life. So please remember the following nonsense. Disadvantage is a blessing. Be willing to be at a disadvantage. That's called giving. This is what normal people don't do. When we understand these principles, our body and mind will be unobstructed, and our wisdom will be unleashed. Received. After knowing kindness and evil, our body's energy system will be unhindered. When compassion starts to be planted inside your heart, you'll feel compassion is beautiful. When you decide to become a compassionate person, you'll become incredible. Received. You'll start to become a great person, as I mentioned before. If you'd like, put your palms together with me. I want to be a compassionate person. I want to be a compassionate person. I want to be the most compassionate person. I want to be the most compassionate person. My blood is compassion itself. My blood is compassion itself. All cells in my body are compassionate. All cells in my body are compassionate. My soul is also compassionate. My soul is also compassionate. I love all sentient beings. I love all sentient beings. I love my family. I love my family. I love children. I love children. I love the entire society. I love the entire society. I love
我要爱我
my
的朋友
friends.
们，
I love my friends. I
我乐
love
意
to
吃
be at a
亏，
disadvantage. I love to be at a
我最宽
disadvantage.
容，
I'm most tolerant. I'm most
我无
tolerant.
所
I
不
can
能，
do anything. I can do anything. I
我
can
要
tolerate
难
the
忍能忍，
intolerable. I can tolerate the intolerable. I
难
can do
行能
difficult
行，
tasks. I can do difficult
做
tasks.
慈
Be
悲
a
的人。
compassionate person. Be a compassionate
从
person
现在
from
开
now
始，
on. From now on.
好了，
Okay. Buddha
佛
has
都听
heard,
到了，
seen
看
and
到
known
了，知
it.
道了，
Received.
这
When
样的慈
compassion
悲和
completely
我们的生
combines with
命
our lives,
完全的融合为一体的时候，我
our
们那
sharp
个咄咄
voices and
逼人的
gazes
声
become
音和目
soft.
光就开始柔和了。
Received.
哎，
You'll
对，
start to be
回家
gentle
对
with your
孩子、对
kids and
老
your
公、对
husband or
太太
wife.
开始温柔了。
Received.
对，
So our
所以我
interpersonal
们的人际关
relationships
系
will
啊，
start to
从
change
这
from
一刻
now
开始
on.
改变。哎，
Received. The
对，
most
最重
important
要的
thing
是
is others
别
won't be
人不受
hurt,
伤害了，我
and
们
we
自
will be
己就会
happy as
幸
well.
福啊。
Received.
你要
Think
想一
about
想
it.
哈，哎，
If
别人
others
不被
won't
你
be
骂，
scolded by
别人
you,
是
they'll be
快乐
happy.
的；
If
你
you
赞美
praise
别人，
others,
别
they'll be
人是
happy.
幸福的。那我
Then
们
how
自己
about
呢？
us?
我
We'll
们收
receive
获的就是
happiness
幸
and
福、快
respect.
乐、被尊重啊。对，
Previously,
所
I've said
以
that you
我过去
receive
讲
what you
过，
give.
付出什么，得到什么。现
Now
在
it
应
should
该
be
越来
more
越明白了。
understandable. From
对，
now on, I'll be a
所以从自己
dependable
开始
and
讲
kind
信
person.
做善良的人开始，不
Not
出多
long
久，
after,
你
your
的那
good
些好朋
friends,
友、
those who
最信任
trust
你
you
的好
most
朋友，
and don't do
不需
empty
要说
flattery,
恭维的话的，最真心的朋友就
will
会来
come
到
to
你的
you.
身边的。
Received.
对，
Our
所以
future
我
and
们
its
的
good
未来
affinities are created
啊，
by
我
us
们
each
未来的
step of the
善
way.
缘，都是我们自己这样一步一个脚印的这样营造出来的。
So
所
we
以
should create our
希
happy
望我
lives
们
with our own
能亲
hands.
手能够去创造我们美好的人生。
After listening to Grandmaster JinBodhi's lecture in the Karma series, we've found the reasons behind broken interpersonal relationships. We've also found that kindness, kind words, and kind actions are the essential ways of changing everything. They're the wisdom lights that relieve pain and troubles, and the root elements that uphold interpersonal relationships. Recalling the 3 lessons on karma, Grandmaster JinBodhi talked about the patterns of the karma cycle from different perspectives of time and space. Starting with different affinities, he revealed how to handle bigger and smaller negative tendencies. He revealed the key to improving interpersonal relationships through the thoughts and actions of people in real life. From the Karma trilogy, we learned that kindness is the medicine that dissolves all evil. It is the foundation to build a legacy upon. It is the way to change present and future life. And it is the method of escaping the cycle of sufferings. So stick to kind thoughts. And remain good in all actions. Seize this moment to create a happy future.